Hi everybody, hi every spirit, welcome very much to my YouTube channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here, ready to talk about Saturn in astrology. Thank you very much for being here, your support is greatly appreciated. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings and emotions, a whole bunch of individuality, creativity and responsibility as well. So, if you want to know more about your Saturn or your natal chart, keep in mind I do natal chart readings. Check the links in the description down below. So Saturn, what is Saturn associated with and what is the astrological meaning of Saturn and how in general Saturn influences our lives? Because then, depending on your Saturn and depending on the Saturn of the sky, the influences will be a bit more specific, alright? So, but in general, Saturn is associated with structure, teamwork, network, limits, boundaries, blockages, responsibility, maintaining something, organizations, not the act of organizing, like your room, but organizing in a bigger scale. You know what I'm saying? So you create an organization. Individuality, accumulation, regulation, and intelligence. And intelligence is not the same thing as being smart. Intelligence is your ability, is your skill to collect information. Being smart is your ability to either process that information or is your ability to perform well, not knowing everything that you should know, quote unquote. Alright? So, one fact about Saturn that I always like to highlight is the fact that Saturn is the furthest planet away that you can totally feel its influence, because Neptune, Uranus and Pluto, they are further away, but we cannot feel, we cannot react, we do not receive totally their influence. That's why they can only co-rule signs. Uranus co-rules Aquarius, Pluto co-rules Scorpio, and Neptune co-rules Pisces, right? And all the other planets, they are rulers, not co-rulers, because we can totally feel and be affected by their influence. So from the planets that can influence us 100%, Saturn is the furthest away and is the one that has the largest orbit, the largest travel. That means that the spirit that created Saturn, your spirit created yourself, Saturn was created by a spirit, it's one of the wisest and more experienced spirits in the solar system, and because Venus, Mars and everybody else is inside of Saturn's route, of Saturn's experiences, right, of Saturn's orbit, that means that Saturn has already experienced what those are experienced, so Saturn has a little bit of every other influence. But because Saturn, or the spirit that created Saturn, is an individual spirit, it's not like it's a copy or others are a copy of Saturn. No, Venus is learning what Saturn already knows, but in its own unique way, right? And Saturn knows what Venus is learning right now, but on its own unique way. But Saturn does have a little bit of everybody's influence. You have the individuality of the sun, you have the attraction of the moon, you have the communicating of Mercury, you have the passion of Mars, you have the expansion or the traveling or the learning something new and expanding your awareness from Jupiter, right? And yeah, that's just a fun fact. Wherever you are analyzing your Saturn, the Saturn in the sky, pretty much Saturn influences every other planet in a small way, but it does. Okay? So, Saturn is, or it's not, it rules Aquarius and it rules Capricorn. Saturn is exalted in Libra and it's falling in Aries. What does this mean? This means that naturally we are more influenced, or we are more predisposed to express, because Aquarius is the masculine, expressive side of Saturn, And Capricorn is the feminine internal receiving side of Saturn. That means that we like to express in fixed, unique ways our limits, our boundaries, our associations, our intelligence, aka our informations, right? Our organizations, our structures, and how we see the world, ourselves in the world, doing something, growing the world, expanding, all right? And on Capricorn, it means that internally we create new limits and boundaries, we create new ways to have stability, structure, being efficient and profitable, and also you might receive, even if it's not there, you might create that image or that feeling, okay? It might be true, but it also is not true. Sometimes you might receive others or the world's limits and boundaries, pressures, responsibilities, okay? As a Capricorn or any earth sign, because earth signs are receivers of the external side, you might receive influence and you think it's this, you think keyword think, because then water signs, they process it better with emotionally speaking. So you might think that somebody is putting pressure on you and you are receiving, making sense in that way, okay? Especially Capricorn, because Capricorn creates new ways to go about what you receive from the external realm. So you can completely transmute and transform positively or negative all the limits, boundaries, responsibilities, teamworking, networking from the external world, right? And then Saturn does not like to be, or hold on, Saturn then also rules the 10th and the 11th house, is exalted in the 7th house, and is falling or asleep in the 1st house. It also doesn't like to be on Scorpio, Virgo, Leo, and Aries. But Virgo is a very interesting aspect, or a very interesting scenario, because Virgo and Saturn actually share a lot of traits, right? Saturn is a more earthly planet that rules an air sign and the earth sign. Virgo is an earthly sign that is ruled by an air planet and shares that ruling with Gemini, which is an air sign. So you can see all the sharing. The only difference between Virgo and Saturn is the mutability. While Virgo might lack some structure, might lack some consistency, Saturn is all about that. Alright? And Saturn does not like to be in the 1st house, does not like to be in the 5th house, does not like to be in the 8th house, and it does not like to be in the... It likes to be in the 2nd house. It just might be a bit tougher to get things going, but it likes to be there. It also likes to be in the 11th house, in the 10th house, in the 7th house, sometimes in the 3rd house, but that might make you too too authoritarian on your surroundings, or you might feel like your surroundings are too tough and too harsh as well. All right? So, now we have positive and negative points of Saturn. Positive points of Saturn: creating a good image or a good status, creating good business and good structure and organizations, be very real and practical, and helping others to be unique, original, on their own way, while maintaining a sense of structure and stability, holding on, going through and grow and thrive under pressure and under the harsh times. It's also good to apply pressure on yourself or others, and it's also a positive aspect of Saturn. It enables us to be completely aware of the characteristics and influences of our situations and environments. Now, the negative points of Saturn: limiting and separating too much, being aware of all the characteristics and influences of the situations and the environments, because you gotta leave space for the new spaces, you gotta leave spaces for new awarenesses, right? Being authoritarian and I'm missing the word. I want to say controlling a lot, having control, but it's not controllative, right? But you guys, authoritarian and trying to control too much the situation, aka fascist, you know. Another negative aspect, and this one is very important, not believing in all possibilities, right? Another one, not having emotional intelligence, rejecting emotional comfort and security, rejecting spirituality, and getting lost in logic, words, and contracts. So, this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, check my Linktree, book a reading with me, and I see you soon as a Direct Cloud Surfer, surfing out.